Welcome to Convicted Hearts. I am your host, Jem Magana, and I am back. I'm excited, you guys. I've been wanting to talk to the one and only OG Green Eyes, and I have her here for us today. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So let me see. I'd like to get to know, from your younger years, like where did you grow up? Give me a little bit about, how it was for you growing up.
Okay. Well, first off, my mom and dad. My dad was rest in peace. Um, he was from the city of Bryn Mawr. If anybody's familiar with that, that's in Loma Linda, Redland, between Loma Linda and Redlands.
Mhm.
Very, very small barrio, but it was underneath a bridge, and literally there is only one way in and one way out at that
Wow.
time. Now it's
Okay.
different, but at that time it was. My mom, she was born and raised in Colton,
Mhm.
um, and as I was. So I was born in San Bernardino County, off of Gilbert Street, right behind the juvenile hall.
Right?
It's not there no more. I ain't saying
Yeah.
age, but I grew up in Colton, off of Mount Vernon, on the north side of Colton. So I grew up in the Inland Empire, and I went to, let me see, I went to Lincoln Elementary
Okay.
in Colton, and then I went to Colton Middle School, or
Mhm.
Colton Junior High, which have you. And then I got into my high school years, and challenges began. and and being that I was half white, half Mexican, yes, it was very hard for me growing up, because back then there wasn't too much blacks, honestly, in
Mhm.
Colton, but there was, you had your white and your stoners, you
Mhm.
know, then you had your Mexicans, which was cholos, cholas.
Right.
So it
That's something I told you before, not to cut you off. I could relate with you, on that. So I was curious to hear about that part of your growing up. So sorry
yeah.
about that. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. No, no, you're right, and I'm glad, because I've always really wanted to speak about it.
Mhm.
Um, it was hard because, like, my real name is Kimberly.
Mhm.
My last name is Martinez. So growing up, it was like, wait, Kimberly Martinez, like,
Mhm.
and back at that time, you weren't just chola, you weren't just a cholo. If you were at a certain part, you kind of basically had to prove yourself. You couldn't just
Mhm.
be like, well, you know what, today, this is
Yeah.
who I am.
Yeah.
No, it was not like that. You had to do things to prove. So I got into, like I said, we're all teenagers, but I got into graffiti because I love art.
Yeah.
I used to run away a lot, circumstances at home. And so, my dad was an alcoholic, and he used to hit my mom. And my dad never touched me. I mean, I love my dad. My dad was my dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
It's kind of hard, but you love your parents no matter what. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
No matter what they do, they're your parents, and you love them both.
That's right.
So even though he was that way with her, in a little girl's eyes, that's my daddy.
Your daddy. Yeah. I get it. I get it. Believe me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for my mom, of course, I felt bad for my mom, and I wouldn't want them fighting and stuff. But that's just the way it
Mhm.
was. I think back at that time anyway, it wasn't very
Mhm.
open, wasn't very talked about. It was a
Right.
hush hush thing.
Yeah.
What happens at home stays at home.
Yes. I feel like that's definitely how things were more so, back then. Now people are, putting stuff out there and addressing things more openly, but back
Right.
in the day it wasn't like that. Yeah.
Right. Which is a good thing for our kids, and
Mhm.
stuff, because I think it helped them to be more open, where we were more closed in. And
Yeah.
that's the way we were taught. You don't talk about it. You don't say nothing on any technically subject.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know.
Yeah.
So, as go backtrack a little bit. So when we
Mhm.
have our award ceremony,
Mhm.
not only was I half white, half Mexican,
Mhm.
And I had the Mexican last name, but they would screw it up, girl.
Oh man.
Instead of being Kimberly, Martinez, it was
Yeah.
Martinez. And I'm like,
Oh yeah.
gosh, really?
Uh-huh.
So that too, I would just be like, oh, they done messed up my name.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I feel you. I still sometimes will get someone with a can Jennifer Magana come forward? I'm like, oh, I think you're calling me. Yeah.
It was a bit of a challenge. So,
Yeah.
the homies, the homegirls at that time, they were like, hey, technically we always found out what somebody's, I'll say, specialty was.
Right.
Mine was art, graffiti. I love
Okay.
the spray paint, draw
Mhm.
certain things.
I
The
hear you.
peaches, you remember the peaches? The old
Yes.
people,
Oh yeah.
putting block letters on those.
Yep.
And, I did all that.
Okay.
And then as I got older, progressed, it was either you dress like a stoner or you dress like, chola,
Yeah.
cholo, whatever, what have you. And my parents didn't have a lot of money. I mean, straight up, I'm not going to put a front on. They did not. I came from the north side of the barrio. Like, I didn't have it like that. Back at that time,
Mhm.
our clothes were cheap. It's not like now. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Mhm.
Like, we wore those clothes because it was what our parents could afford. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So for us, it was like, if we got a pair of, I don't know, I'll say Vans or
Mhm.
Cortez or Chucks, it was like, dang, like,
Yeah. Got him.
sporty today.
Right.
But
Yes.
I love the stilo. There was just my dad dressed that way. He was these 501s, his
Mhm.
shiners, white t-shirt, his Pendleton, and then his work days, 501s, work boots, white t-shirt.
Yeah. Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Um, so I kind of grew up that with my mom being from Colton, also growing up. She grew up with a bunch of Hispanics, and they taught her, you
Yeah.
know. So my mom didn't speak Spanish, man, but she did understand it.
Mhm.
She didn't speak it, but she understood. My dad spoke it and understood it.
Okay.
He was born and raised here also. So, and my grandparents were from Mexico.
Okay.
And so it was my culture. It was how I grew up, the way my dad taught me,
Mhm.
like, hey, man, I always had to be clean.
Mhm.
Don't be messing up your pants. Don't be messing up your shoes. I think too, because we couldn't afford to buy more. But it was instilled in me.
Right. Most
So I
definitely.
love, growing up being a teenager, I loved creasing my stuff. I loved
Mhm.
dressing up. I just felt like, man,
So
like,
good.
back then it
Yeah.
was like you dressed up, you dressed to impress. So you were like, you.
Right. Yeah, most definitely. I feel like you could see the people took more pride, I feel like, in,
Right.
you know what I mean? Looking good, feeling good. If you look good, you feel good, right? So
Exactly. Yep.
I definitely appreciate that. And that's something I could tell, just looking at your Instagram page, I'm like, damn, I really love her stilo and you carry it so well. So I know definitely you grew up, you know, with
Right.
someone, your dad, your family dressing to impress. So
Right. And then my sisters too, my sisters and brothers. They're my half sisters and brothers, but we
mhm.
don't say that to the
Yeah,
public because you guys don't know me. They're
right.
my half brothers and sisters, and they're all from Redlands.
Okay.
So, like, seeing them, they were older than me because there was 21 years between my mom and dad.
Oh wow.
I said,
Okay.
my dad didn't rock the cradle, girl. He just straight took the cradle. I
Yeah.
mean, my mom she was in her 20s. It
Okay.
was
Yeah.
one, I believe, when she had me.
Okay.
So, um, growing up that way, growing
Mhm.
up in Colton, growing up with my sisters, watching them. My sisters, back then they were in the 70s era,
Oh, okay.
late 60s, early 70s. So
Mhm.
they did the whole. I wish I had pictures. We don't have a lot of pictures, but yeah, they used to dress nice, like all out, yeah, crease, the same thing, the makeup, feathers, beautiful, sisters were beautiful, but they were full-blooded Mexican, so they didn't have the challenges I kind of had. Me, I had to more prove myself harder than the rest, because of the, well, you're white, like, sure, like, how it was back then, like, show us, prove to us who you really are, So I was always in that proving stage, I guess. And it kind of, I don't want to say messed me up, but honestly, it kind of did, because I was like, man, haven't I proved enough? Or what is, I'm not good enough? Or, like, why, or do I have to do this, And then there was the bullying part, because I was white, to see how tough I was. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that was not only with the girls, it was with the guys.
Really?
Yeah, it was with the guys. Let's see what you got. Let's see what you got. At that time they would call me Weta, Wetita. Let's see what you got, Weta, I'll be like, try to prove myself, know. And, finally, I was accepted. And, when I got in high school, and then I just started like, okay, running amok with them, ditching, going to parties, and it just went.
Fast, huh?
Yes.
It's interesting to hear this, because it's not refreshing to hear that you were bullied or went through that, but it's like, this is a lot of our stories. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's not really talked about so much, but it's something to have to, it's a trip to have to prove yourself to like two different sets of people, and feel like, well, where am I accepted,
Exactly. And then not only that, then I have my home issues,
Yeah.
But what I feel, and the reason why I'm speaking about it, a lot of us get embarrassed about it. Don't be embarrassed about it. It's your past. It's there for a reason. We can leave it alone, but don't forget where we came from and the hardness of it, because there's still bullies to this day. And it's worse because our kids, they're bullied because of braces. They're bullied because of what they wear. It's technically the same things. It's just a little, they switch it up a little bit. Now you got internet bullies.
Yeah.
And that's sad, because to be honest with you, I went through my phases in high school as I grew up, and I got married, had kids. I kind of, I didn't want that life for my kids. To me, if you came from that life, and I'm no disrespecting anybody that's still in that life process. I just happen to have a way out and a better life. And so I took that route. You know what I mean?
Good.
And I didn't want my kids growing up there. I didn't want my kids in the gang banging and all that stuff. I didn't want that for them.
Right.
So my kids, I let them be who they want to be. Was I a perfect parent? Hell no. Excuse my language, but I was not. But I did my best with what I was taught. You know what I mean? But a little fast forward, I was married and in church and raising. I had 4 kids. He had 3. So we had 7 altogether. So it was it was rough. And then I ended up being a foster mom.
Oh wow, okay.
For 5 years. And so going through all that and the classes and watching everything, and I'm divorced now and I'm remarried to my
congratulations.
Thank you. But what happened was my daughter came home and she was like, Mom, her name was Rosalie. And she was like, she passed away, and she had committed suicide because of bullying. And I was like, my heart sank, because if it would be like one of mine,
Yeah.
So I got hold of her mom, and they were having a car wash, and she told me what week it was and stuff. So
Mhm.
I sat there thinking, and not in church anymore, but I still believe in God.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into that part, but
Yeah.
I still believe, and I was just saying there, how can I make a difference? How can
Mhm.
I show these kids that, hey, look at what you're doing. You're taking a life by your mouth. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? I don't like mouthy people. I
Right.
don't like internet banging. I
Yes.
I can't stand it.
I know.
I don't like it. To me, and then maybe it's because I was taught that way, but it was more like, to me, if you had a problem with somebody, you go to that person and
Mhm.
you handle it. You don't sit there and go and on the media and be like, oh, blah 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 blah, calling out people or whatever the case may be. You just don't do
Right.
it. Everybody says a different generation. That's their excuse.
Yeah. Right. See, that makes sense. Like back in the day, things were dealt with hands on.
Right. Right.
Now we have people who are sitting behind a screen and no, there's no way, you don't even know who they are sometimes. They're not going to get
fake
touched.
fake accounts. A lot of
Yeah.
fake accounts.
Yeah. And those people too, it trips me out is they'll have backup fake accounts. So like if you block them or something, here they come with their
Yep.
next one and their next one. So
Oh
they're
yeah.
out there. Yeah.
Yes, and it's like, to me, it's all, like,
Hmm.
how do you say? They can't be themselves, so
Hmm.
they hide behind something else.
Yes.
But when you're bullying and you're doing that over the internet,
Hmm.
and they say, "Oh, that's the generation," technically, whether we're old or young, at the end of the day, like you say, that's your generation. That's what you guys do.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, what's wrong with the old generation? Because we are the ones that set the platform straight up. We're the
Exactly.
ones that brought it all out for the younger generation.
Right.
And they're very disrespectful, some of them, not all of them, so don't get all
Right.
twisted on me, people.
Right.
But I'm just saying there's a few of them out there that
Yeah.
quite a few of them out there that do that.
Yeah, there's a level of disrespect. I see it.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
I wanted to ask you, just to touch back real briefly, the young lady that you said took her life, was that your daughter's friend at school?
yes, that was, and the her mother and me went to church together.
Oh, wow.
So hearing about that just broke my heart. I was just like, oh my gosh, like, I've always seen it, heard it, dealt with it
Mhm.
myself, but to
Mhm.
actually see my daughter in tears because she was just like, whoa, like, so
It's a lot. Yeah.
right. So I thought, you know what? I'm gonna go back to my days.
Mm.
I'm gonna go back to my days and bring back our culture,
Mhm.
and let it be understood that, what, back then you had a lot of bullying too. It's just a little bit different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go back. I got my clothes out, I ironed and stuff like that, and I
Mhm.
wanted to let the ones that were being bullied, we got you, and be who you are. That was my main thing. Be
Mhm.
who you are. Don't don't front. Don't, because you're getting bullied, don't get scared.
Mhm.
Love yourself and be yourself, and don't worry about what the next person says.
Right.
And that's why I brought back our stilo and our
Mhm.
culture, and I started doing that because I thought it was important, because that's who I was back then. That's how I lived. That was important to me. And there was good and bad
Mhm.
back at that time, and I had the support I needed. Hey, you got problems, we got you, blah blah blah. And I wanted to instill that with our younger ones. We got you.
Mhm.
We have you. Don't worry about being, bullied or anything like that. Like,
Yeah.
is
That's important. I noticed on one of your videos that I had seen on Instagram where you addressed someone that was coming at you in a way that was like they were saying something about you didn't roll your R properly or something like that. The way you handled that, I got to give you props because you handled that like so respectfully, but so directly, like it was a kill shot. Like beautiful. You
Thank
know what
you.
I mean? And I really appreciate the way you handled that and you educated that person in the same moment that you know what and you also made it very clear like you're not going to disrespect me.
Right, right. Because yeah, at the end of the day, we're all human.
Mhm.
We all go through stuff, some worse than others.
Mhm.
And I don't know what their story is and why
Mhm.
they had to feel to lower themselves like that. Because you didn't lower me. I've already dealt with all that.
Yeah.
But I will make sure to tell you in a
Mhm.
bold way,
Mhm.
don't come at me like that because that's not my weakness. That's your weakness. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, you're teaching me how to speak when
Yeah.
you're not spoken to. I don't know if that makes
Exactly.
sense to you.
It does. It does make definitely. It does.
I don't want to sugarcoat nothing. I
Mhm.
will come at you bold and respectfully if you do that with me.
Yeah.
Um, as I said, we all have a story to tell. Like
Mhm.
you, it's a learning process. Even me, I mean,
Mhm.
I'm still learning things, and
Yeah.
that's okay. You know,
Mhm.
it. We make mistakes. We're human. You know what I mean? But when you're bullying somebody and they're taking their life,
Mhm.
kind of think about what you're doing and what you're saying, you
Yeah.
know, because you're not perfect, is what I'm trying to get. You're not, you know,
Mhm.
this great, wonderful person. You're over there talking it down on somebody and calling them out
Mhm.
because you got a weakness, because
Exactly.
you can't be that strong and be
Mhm.
yourself,
Yeah.
you
I
know?
agree. I think that's true. A lot of the people that do stuff like that, it's their own self-hate. You know,
Mm.
they've got issues that they haven't dealt with, so they're lashing out wherever they feel, they can get a response or get some attention.
Yes. And it's attention seek. It's an attention seeker.
Yep.
And you know what? To be honest with you, all this media stuff is for attention. You
Yeah,
know,
it is. Of course.
and if you think about it, why? Maybe it has to do with our childhood. Maybe it has to do with we didn't get enough attention. So
Mhm.
when somebody says, "Oh, you're beautiful," or
Mhm.
somebody says, "You're," dang, look at him, he's fine, whatever.
Mhm.
There must be some type of, maybe, how do you want to say this? Low confidence in
Yeah.
yourself. And
Yeah.
that's okay. That's okay. Like,
Mhm.
we all love attention. That's, like I've
Right.
told, well, let's get real. We all love
Of
attention.
course. Yeah.
It's the way you handle it, though.
Yeah.
And then there's the good attention, there's the bad attention.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But that bad attention is what I'm speaking of
Yeah.
calling out people, bullying people, because you got adult bullies too.
And that's crazy, right? Like there is adults doing this. That's
Yeah,
wild to me. It
yeah.
definitely is. I feel like you have a strong support system around you. I see that you have a lot of like your homegirls on the comments and stuff that are right there, like, and have your back. Is that true?
Yeah, you know what? Okay, there is. I do have that support. And then there's been people, you're not really from this place or that place, and I'm like, screw
Mhm.
you. They'll come on there,
Yeah.
and I'm still homegirls from when I went to school. So that's my
Mhm.
loyalty. That
Yeah.
speaks numbers. When somebody says,
Yes.
Green Eyes, I hope you're really a friend and you're not one of those. And I'm like, look, I've been friends with like 12, 12, 15 girls still
Yeah.
back to when I was in elementary, middle school. So
Mhm.
to me, if you got that, that speaks loyalty. That speaks numbers for me as a
Mhm.
person. I don't just get rid of you to get rid of you. I
Mhm.
don't. If I let you go, there's a
There's
there's
a
a
reason.
there's a big reason,
Yeah.
because I am loyal. I may not always agree with you,
Mhm.
but I am loyal. to my friendships. And
That's
so,
good.
yes, I do have those loyal ones there. I also have the ones that on media that don't know me and I don't know them, that
Mhm.
they've gotten to know me through media,
Mhm.
but it's not the same. But they still have me and I appreciate that. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of courage to, like, put up a comment and be like, I don't really know her, but I like what she's saying.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. Go ahead, bring me that comment. And I like to give comments back.
Mhm.
And people ask me, how come you don't do more on TikTok? I'm like, because I ain't worried about numbers. At the end of the day, if I got so many numbers, you get all those comments, Jen, you can't just go and it's hard to reply to everybody.
It is, right? It's
Yeah.
hard.
And,
Yeah.
and then I just feel like I like to comment back and show
Mhm.
my appreciation and be like, thank you, take my time out. There's a
Mhm.
lot of people that don't. They get, media famous, or they are famous,
Yeah.
and they don't take that time, and then they're
Mhm.
wondering why they're losing, you know,
Yeah.
fan base. It's because you don't communicate. It's because you got so much on top that you just have your
Mhm.
nose up in the air.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
hey, I'll catch you
Right.
next time, or I got more
Exactly.
important people.
Mhm.
Don't
And
think
you notice that, like, sometimes if you've seen someone maybe grow, like, throughout their career, you know what I mean? You've seen their platform grow, and at first they were all about it, like, talking, replying, then all of a sudden they get somewhere and they're like too good to be bothered. And then there's some that continue engaging, and it's refreshing to be able to, engage with someone and have them comment back or like your comment, you
right.
know.
It's not always about you, it's
Right.
about them too.
Mhm.
That's what I'm saying. Like, trying to combine all this together is the
Yeah.
bullying and all that stuff on social media. You got all this going on,
Mhm.
but take time for your people.
Mhm.
You're no better than the next person. We're all human.
Yeah.
Yeah, you may be famous as a musician or
Mhm.
artist or tattooer or, you know, a, singer, actor, I mean,
Right.
whatever. That's cool. But you wouldn't be who you are without us. And the
Yeah.
same way with TikTok or
Mhm.
Instagram or Facebook, you got all your supporters because they like who you are. Reach out to them. I'm
Yeah.
not saying get personal, but let
Right.
them know, thank you. I appreciate you. Take your
Mhm.
time out. You're not gonna be able to get to everybody, but maybe take
Yeah.
turns or rotate. Oh, you know what? I seen this person. I didn't respond to them last time. Let me go respond to them this time.
Yeah. I
Just
like
that
that.
little bit could be somebody thinking of something bad they were gonna do,
Yep.
and hey, this person appreciate me, or hey, I'll use me,
Mhm.
because I don't want to use anybody else, but I'll use me. Man, Green Eyes responded to me. I'm not saying I'm big
Mhm.
like that, but I'm just saying
You are.
it might touch somebody's heart, like
Yeah.
it might be like, damn, Green Eyes responded to me. What I'm trying to
Yeah.
say is
It
that,
makes sense. It does make sense because there has been even instances in the past where I have had a couple people reach out after the fact and be like, "Hey, Jen, like, thank you for, saying how are you doing during that live. Today was a bad day and I was having some pretty dark thoughts and that helped me kind of pull out of it." So you're right. It's the simple things can sometimes like shake someone out of that funk or out of whatever their mind is taking them into and let them know that, hey, you're not alone. There's
right,
other people here thinking of you. Yeah.
right, right. And as an adult bully, what are you really trying to prove? That you're tougher than the next person? Because there's going to be somebody tougher than you, and you can hide, and maybe you'll never get found out.
Mhm.
But what are you doing to yourself?
Yeah.
You're what are you proving? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? You
Exactly.
go get attention by doing maybe like a talk show.
Hmm.
Go and do something with it. Don't be, if you got a lot of mouth,
Hmm.
you're able to talk. And if you're able to talk, Do something with it. Have a talk show, or, you know, there's plenty of things and options for that person to do. Don't be a media banger and a bully, and you know,
Yeah.
that's what I love about our culture,
Mm-hmm.
because our culture don't tolerate bullies. You know,
Right.
we don't tolerate a lot of things that others do. Are we perfect? No. But I love my estilo. I love who we are. I love the Chola Chicana,
Mm-hmm.
because it's changed to where you don't, it's not about a gang thing. It's about showing our culture. And for me, I speak on me because that's who I am, a Chola Chicana.
Mm-hmm.
I do that because if there is a kid, and there's been plenty that's came up to me, and if I got a pair of extra Chola bands, I'll take mine off and I'll place, you know, I'll ask the parents first.
Yes.
I'll
Yeah.
bend down, you know, and let them know, give them, you know, the girls, not the
Mm-hmm.
boys, but the
Yeah.
girls. I'll put it on and I'll tell them what it represents. This
Mm-hmm.
is a sisterhood. This is a, you know, us women supporting you girls.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if you ever need me, you know, I'm Green Eyes, you know, your mom, and I tell them, you know, if you need me to go down there to school, whatever, I'm more than willing to. And not to go
Yeah.
down to school like as in bullying other kids,
Right.
but to
Yeah.
show them that, hey, dang, you know, she has this person, she has that person, you know, like she's
As a
not.
support. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Now the
I,
boys, I see, and I give props to the homies that are doing this.
yeah.
I've seen a few doing it. Have you seen that where they're going to the schools and stuff? That
Yeah.
is so awesome. I'm like, why can't us women quit nagging at each other and go
Right.
back and forth and roll up like that in school for
That's what
girls?
I'm saying. Yeah. Come together. That's what we need to be doing.
That's what I would love to do. I would
Yeah.
love to do that. We said it right here on
Yeah. There you
YouTube
go.
channel.
There it is. You guys remember that when you see us doing it.
Yes, you know, roll up to
Yeah.
this because the girls need that.
Yeah.
Not start fights and all that. You
Right.
guys, let's try to show
Working
them
on
a
that.
different,
Yeah.
right. But to show them, hey, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Dang, they're rolling up like that in the lowriders or whatever. You know, not everybody's into that. So
Mm-hmm.
just being there and showing support, you know, to our kids. If you know
Yeah.
somebody that's being bullied, get a few women together, because I can't be everywhere, but you can get a few women together. Why
Mm-hmm.
can't we all of us women, all of us females,
Right.
help each other out and support each other? Why is there always got to be hate and jealousy? Cut it
Yeah.
out. So what? She got bigger than you, or
Right. That's what I'm saying. I'm
who
like, come on
cares?
already. Yeah.
Yeah, like there's so much competent girl. There's so much
Yes.
everybody doing surgeries, and you
Mm-hmm.
know, then there's everybody being cholas and dressing up that way. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's plenty for everybody. Quit
Yeah.
hating on each other. You
That's right.
know, let's
That's right.
support each other.
Yeah. I like how you brought up the Chola bands and, can you just give us like a brief, maybe the people that don't understand the meaning behind the Chola
Okay.
bands?
And I got a lot of crap from that too.
Did you? Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Let me hear it.
But more
Okay.
good than bad. But it depends on where, like I said, where you grew up and
Mhm. Yeah.
who taught you. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? So no, it's no disrespect to anybody. I was just showing and teaching what I was shown.
Mhm.
You can take it or leave it. You know what I mean? But thank you. I my sisters, they told me, you know, I thought they were just cute being a little kid. I'm just like, ooh, you
Yeah.
know, bracelets.
Right?
My sister, my oldest sister, she's kind of scolded me. She goes, they're not bracelets. You want me to tell you what they mean? And I was like, yeah. And she took off hers, and that's why I do it to the kids. She
Okay.
was my older sister. She took hers off and she put them on me, and she told me, Mija, we wear these, and as she was showing me, I don't know, I'll show
Okay.
you real quick.
Yeah.
But I love the way she did it, and I took that.
Mhm.
May she rest in peace, because she's
Um,
not here no more.
rest in peace.
But she, when she took hers off, she showed
Okay.
me and she would tell me, when you bind them together, you bind our carnalismo,
Mm.
our sisterhood together. They're bonding to show each other what
Mhm.
and who we are. You know, this is our culture. This is, you know, part of us, who we are
Yeah.
as a person, generations. And
Mhm.
she goes, pass it down to you, and you pass it down to your kids, or, you know, whoever, I guess.
Yeah.
But for me, she was talking to me, you
Mhm.
know. And as she was putting them on, she told me, uh, you know, don't ever just take them as decoration. Like some of these people told me,
Mhm.
they're not a lot, a few, you
Yeah.
know, oh, you know, those are just braids. We used to wear them back in the day, okay, but maybe you didn't know the meaning, and I'm sorry, but for me, I mean, who knows? Maybe my sister, maybe she did make it up. I don't know. I never asked her. I was too young. But
Right.
if she did, I love it.
Yes. It's
I love it.
beautiful.
And
It's a
it's
beautiful thing. Yeah.
wisdom, if you ask me. But then that's when she told me, and she goes, because we're tight, we're strong, we're
Yeah.
Chicanas together, united. She
Yeah.
goes, we're brown pride.
Yeah.
And then she taught me a little bit on that, you know, and I learned that from her. So I wanted to pass it down. Don't
Mhm.
just take them as their bracelets, man. Because when you go and you take photographs, man,
Mhm.
what are you doing it for? Because you're just doing it?
Mhm.
No, have some meaning behind it. When you stand in front of that lowrider, you bend down on that lowrider. You're
Mhm.
saying, this is us. This is who we are. You
Mhm.
know, embrace who you are. Confident. Don't be conceited. Be confident. There's a
Yeah.
difference.
There's a difference. Yeah.
And show, you know, this is the. Don't just wear them to wear them. Wear them because that's who you are. That's what we represent. This is our culture. Get
Mhm.
it? You know, this is who we love to be.
Right.
In other words, don't represent yourself, represent your raza, represent your
Yeah.
culture. Because if you're just doing it because you look sexy, cool. You do look sexy. Every woman's sexy or beautiful in their own
Mhm.
way. At the end of the day, though, who are you representing? If you're only representing yourself, what good is that going to do? You're going to stay right here.
Yep.
You're not going to do
Exactly.
that. You're not
Yeah.
going to, you know?
Yeah. And like you said right now, even if your sister did make that up or thought of that, that's a pretty OG thing to think of and come up with. You know what I mean? Because it's about
Smart.
uniting. Yeah. Yeah.
It's
So
smart, you know?
yeah.
And I, as my older sister, I valued her opinion.
Mm.
I cherished it, and I took that, and I thought, you know what? Why hold that back?
Mhm.
No, you know, why hold that back? Share it.
Yeah.
Let the younger generation know. Represent us to the fullest. I'll
Mhm.
tell you a little secret. For me, something that, and I don't want to throw out my age out there, but I'll just say this.
Right.
I'll say this. I love the 80s.
Yeah.
That's more what I represent, you
Oh.
know. But
Mhm.
for instance, our brim,
Mhm.
our brims. You know, this is something that it's not, you know, how you say, firm and written, but
Mhm.
when I wear my brim, it's like a crown to me, like
Mhm.
somebody, like a queen, you know what I mean, or a king gets their crown. When I
Yes.
put my brim on, girl, that's the last thing I put on,
Mhm.
because that's what I represent right there. When I put that on, I'm a
Mhm.
Chicana, I'm a Chola. Let's go, let's ride, let's go get our, you know, photos on, or
Mhm.
it, that ties us of who we are, a representation of our stilo. You know, that's
Mhm.
why I always go like this, like that's the finishing touch.
Yes, the finishing touch. Love that.
It's our crown,
Definitely.
you know.
Yeah, it
It's
definitely is.
every female's crown. It don't have to be just chola chicanas.
Mhm.
I'm just saying that's for me, for
Yes.
for us chola chicanas or
Right.
cholas latinas, whatever, that
Mhm.
wear the brim, or cholos. Same
Mhm.
thing. That's their crown. The homies, that's their, you know, like,
Mhm.
hell yeah, you know, this is
Right.
mine, you know.
Yeah. I love that. And I mean, not to mention, it just looks like It looks so good. Right? Yeah, it looks so good. Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of talents that you have. Like you, for one, you mentioned, back in the day you were good with the spray paint art. But are you do you do poetry also?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I think that's part of our culture too. Not everybody, like I said, everybody has their certain gifts.
Hmm.
Some is pinstriping on cars, some is etching, some is spray painting the cars,
Hmm.
whatever it may be. But it's part of our culture. The poetry, I love poetry. It's an expression
Hmm.
of how I feel. That had to do a lot with me running away
Hmm.
and my upbringing. It was my escape.
Okay. Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Do you find that like when you're doing your poetry, is it more so when you're feeling like maybe down about something that you are writing more, or does it
Uh,
really make a difference?
to be honest with you, it's a certain thing that triggers me, or it's a certain thing that not necessarily always down.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll write when I think something's funny.
Okay.
I'll write if it's serious to me,
Hmm.
or I'll take something that happened to somebody and I'll be like, you
Hmm.
know what, this is a good topic to talk about. Let me see what I can put it in writing. And I draw too. I love to draw.
Okay.
So sometimes I'll draw, whatever I'm feeling.
Hmm.
Sometimes I'll have me a little drink,
Yeah. Right.
relax, and I just
Chill.
draw. Hmm.
Okay. I like that. Nice. And I mean, you're obviously, I love your makeup too. Like that's definitely
Thank
an
you.
art. Yeah. How long
It
have you
is.
been able to do your makeup though? Like you have a bunch of different looks that I'm like, damn, how does she do that?
Thank you. My older sister, watching them.
Mhm.
Do you remember paper dolls?
Yes.
Okay, well, paper dolls, the magazines I didn't have.
Okay.
I would cut out the magazines and I would look at their makeup
Mhm.
and learn from there. A lot of people want me to do makeup tutorials, and I'm gonna start doing that.
Yeah, you should for sure. Yes.
I'm like, dang it, they want Green Eyes' secrets,
Ah, I know. Give
but
us
I'll
all your
share.
secrets.
Yeah.
All right, cool. That's interesting. See how that carries down because I can remember the first time like I did my eyebrows. It was my oldest foster brother's girlfriend,
Uh huh.
and she was from the east side. Like she had fear my eyebrows. Like I was like, "Damn, how do you get your eyebrows like that?" And she's like, "I'm gonna show you, but this is just like between me and you, but I'm gonna show you." And she hooked me up, and I have been, plucking and doing my eyebrows like that ever since. And it was something so small, but it stuck with me,
Right.
throughout my life. And as a little girl, I was like 12 when that happened. It made me feel special that she took the time to show me.
Right. And that's what our younger kids need, man. They need that guidance because mom and dads are so busy working now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they just like you said, just that little part stuck with you. Well,
Yeah.
maybe somebody listening, and even if it's an adult female or a
Mhm.
homie, whatever, might take that little bit of the bracelets and pass it down.
Mhm.
Hey, Green Eyes, blah blah blah. I'm gonna pass that down. I would love to see that. Or the brim. You're
Yes.
a queen. Act like it. Walk like it.
Mhm.
Talk like it. Be proud and be confident of who you are. Who cares what they say? You
Yeah.
know, men love to be complimented. They're a little different. I mean, I'm not a man, so I can't tell you what they feel, but I'm
Right.
sure they put on their brim. I know my brother when he puts on,
Yeah.
it's like, like
Right? Like instant, attitude is like different. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. My husband, same way. When he puts
Mhm.
on his brim, he's like, yeah, like, you know. So the men, they love to be complimented.
Yeah.
Compliment them. Like
Mhm.
if you're married, that's one thing. But I'm saying, you can do it respectfully too.
Mhm.
Without flirtatious
Right.
way.
Without sounding crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. You can, hey homie, I like that brand. That's what's up. That type of
Right.
thing.
Right.
You don't be like, dang, that's, you fine.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
no, just get, hey homie, that's what's up. Like, check out
Yeah.
that's bad.
Definitely. It's just like showing appreciation. Yeah.
Right.
For
Again.
sure.
Yes. Yes.
Definitely.
And that's what I'm all about. Am I perfect? No, man, I'm far from perfect. Like I get my attitudes and I get in my little.
We all do. We all do. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But,
awesome. I can't wait to see the makeup tutorials for sure. But is there anything else you feel like a special, that you feel is a talent of yours or you feel passionate about?
um, music and art. Yeah. Recently, shout out to Pinta Estilo. They kind of letting me be part of promoting them.
Okay.
It's their thing.
Okay.
But I love it. I'm trying to get all the info I can, but just to give you a little bit,
Yeah.
it's about prison art, and
Hmm.
they're gonna have a gallery in Norwalk.
Okay.
And I love art,
Yes.
and I have family who's done time and are still doing time,
Yeah.
and we can't always support and show them love the way they need in there because they're in there.
Yeah.
So I think it's important for us, and it is part of our culture, the art, the prison stuff. If it
Mhm.
wasn't for them, we wouldn't be having all this
Right.
chola stuff and cholo stuff and
Right.
the expressions of it.
It's all intertwined. Yeah.
Exactly. So why can't we help those inside
Hmm.
by supporting in a respectful and loving way
Hmm.
to the one females and males, inside, and show their art and let them get a little, maybe some income to help them out, because not everybody gets
Yeah.
money in there like
That's
that,
true.
but also they get to express themselves. It's a positive and motivation for them. Here, this is who
Hmm.
I am. Here, this is who we are. Here, let me give to my community and be
Hmm.
respectful about it, because there's going to be kids there and stuff. But to let the kids see too, that's important.
Yeah.
you know they need to know that maybe not stories of things that's happened as kids, but they need to know that there is this type of life. And
Hmm.
do you want to go that way? Do you want to end up this way? You
Hmm.
can show your culture, you can wear your stilo without doing all those things,
Right.
because they're in there. They have stories to tell, and
Hmm.
it's good to hear their stories too. I'm not saying that,
Yeah.
but
Definitely.
little kids, they don't quite comprehend that.
Hmm.
But to let them know the good, the bad, and the
There you
consequences
go.
of your
Yeah.
actions
That's
when you.
important. Yeah. The consequences. That's important for sure. That's a beautiful thing to do. It. You can give me that information. I'll put it in the description box of the video too
Okay.
for that. So you do promo too, like if people reach out to you, they can request you to. Okay, that's cool.
Yes,
That's cool.
yes, and I can't get to everybody. I wish I could. Everybody's
Yeah.
like, can't we promote this? And I don't charge anybody. Sometimes I do,
Mhm.
depending on what it is.
Yeah.
But most of the time I don't. And here's why, man.
Mhm.
Because I hope it's reciprocated back to me. But two, it's my way of saying thank you for supporting me. And
Mhm.
I've gotten, whether it's a concert, whether it's a show, whether it's Green Eyes, you got to go here, VIP, whatever. I didn't take it, I earned it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah, I
And
like
I
it.
didn't take it for granted either.
Mhm.
So it's kind of me saying thank you for allowing me to do this, and then I'll post for them, and I love, because who doesn't like to go out once in a while,
Right.
you
Right.
know? So it helps me in a different way,
Yeah, I
you know.
love that. That's a beautiful thing, and I could tell like you have a a genuine heart to be doing that. And the way you put that is beautiful.
Thank
Uh,
you.
so let me ask you a few questions before we get ready to wrap it up. If you
Okay.
had to choose one car, a lowrider, color, year, whatever, what would it be?
Well, my dad's car, but well, he had a truck and a car, but
Okay.
I'm gonna go with his. He had a midnight blue '71 Monte Carlo.
I love Monte
It was
Carlo.
midnight blue, beautiful. He didn't have it that long, but
Okay.
I remember it, and it would be that.
Okay.
It
That's
would
so
be that.
cool. Okay. Love it. All right. Okay. So let's see. Favorite all-time oldie song?
Ooh, there's
I
so
know it's
many.
hard.
There's so
Right.
many.
Maybe top two. What are your top two?
Let's see. I'd have to say my wedding song, Thank You for Your Love.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I love that one. That's one of
Yeah.
my favorites. Dreaming Casually or Casual
Mm,
Dreaming, whatever.
mhm. Yes.
My mind went blank, but
Yeah.
I love those two. But
Okay.
my favorite, if you say collection, would be, and they just did a on Vinyl Life, I believe he did it, was the Tokertown Oldies.
Oh, okay.
I used to have those.
All right.
I used to have those, and my sister, my oldest sister, the one passed, she borrowed
Mhm.
them, so I never got them back.
Oh. Oh. Okay.
I love the Tokertown Oldies.
Okay.
There was probably about four of them, four or
Okay.
five of them. Yeah, and those were my favorite sets.
Okay. All right. That's a good one. And lastly, what is like your go-to homemade meal that like is your signature dish? Like your husband or kids might be like, "Oh, hey, can you make that?"
Well, that's a toss up.
Right. Okay. A
But
couple
it
of
would
them.
have to be. They love my lasagna and my
Mm.
spaghetti. I love cooking Italian,
Oh, I love Italian food. Okay.
and their pozole.
Mm. Yeah.
They love that I make.
Okay. Can't go wrong with either one of those. That's comfort food right there.
Yes, yes.
That's right. So where can people find you at? I know you're on, I'll put all your handles in the description box, but you're on TikTok, Instagram, anywhere else?
Facebook.
Facebook? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I have a YouTube, but it's technically personally mine. I don't really know how to do all this you're doing, so
Okay.
it's just
Go
there.
on with it. Okay. Just there. You never know. You might, start uploading on it one day. Keep,
One
keep,
day, one day,
yeah.
one day.
Definitely. Well, I just want to, shout you out and say thank you for taking the time out of your day. You definitely made me feel special for taking this time and making sure that you were here. And it means a lot to me personally and sharing, this part of your life and some real gems that people can carry through with them. So shout out to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Shout out to you, Convicted Hearts. I appreciate it. I am honored. And I have to do one more thing because I told her.
Okay.
This is a shirt from Pinchi Loca and earrings.
Yes. Okay.
La Loca Official. You can find her, but she sent this to me and her lipstick. And
All
I told
right.
her I would give a shout out to her. Tell her
Yes. And where can we find her site to get the shirt and earrings and lipsticks?
um, she is on TikTok and Instagram underneath La Loca Official.
Okay. We'll find her and I'll put her
Okay.
information in the description box as well.
Right.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it again. And I hope we get to do maybe a run back and a part two one day, see what you're doing. Yeah. But I know you have an special event to go to. So
Yes.
have a
Happy
blessed.
birthday, Capone. Yeah,
Yes,
going to
happy
that.
birthday, Capone. You guys, shout out to him also. And you have a beautiful, blessed day.
Thank
And
you.
everyone,
You.
remember, keep your heart convicted.
That's right. Thank you.